Hi there, I'm Java Jim with First Line Equipment, and today I want to go over if you're having any issues with the pump not pumping water when you first receive your espresso machine. There's a few things that you could do at home, but first, the reason why a pump will not work on the brand new machine. Number one, there's an air pocket in the vibration pump, as you see here on vibration pump machines. Also, sometimes the rotary vane pump, as you see here, the pump will sort of like kind of freeze, and there's a little trick to get that pump running. Sometimes it also develops an air pocket, but that little trick will sometimes work. So I'll just show you right here, when you're priming the machine, such as the Espresso Dream right here, when the machine heats up on the PID or before a machine heats up, and this one you can allow to heat up because it has a thermal block. But if it has a boiler, don't let it heat up. You need to prime it immediately so you don't damage the heating element. But if I open the valve, which you need to do to prime, and like I said, mostly start with a cold machine, but this one you can't, and I lift up, there's no water. You hear the pump noise, which indicates the pump is working, but nothing is coming out and it's not drawing any water from the reservoir. So we'll shut that off. And if you don't get water within, say, on a small machine like this, within 20-30 seconds, or on a larger machine through the group head, like a double boiler, or on a heat exchanger, will fill up typically between 60 and 90 seconds. In those cases, if that doesn't happen, you need to power down the machine so you don't burn out the heating elements, because it can happen very, very quickly. So we will show you here with the reservoir filled with water, and to cheat the machine or get past this point is, if you look here, sometimes there's a little particle filter here, sometimes there's a water softener. What we do is suggest removing that filter and finding a turkey baster or a small hand pump, one that can fit into the hose, such as this. And basically a syringe that's tiny like this is not going to work because there's not enough water in here. This is very old. A company used to make these. We hold them here preciously to get machines started, but a turkey baster that can fit will work. And what to do, again, with the machine off, so I will power off, have the tank ready here. We fill the hand pump with water, squeeze it in, and we pump a little water, and I squeeze here to take out the hand pump and get more in here. So what we're doing here is now filling the hose first, okay, and then I'm going to hold it right here so it doesn't come off, and we're going to turn on, in this case we have to turn on the power switch first, but on a lot of machines where you have a thermal block that's dual purpose, steam and hot water, you would hit the coffee switch on before the power. But here we're going to turn the power on, and we're going to hit the coffee switch. In this case, it will, the hot water switch. If you don't have a hot water switch on the machine, then the coffee switch. Turn that up, and see, as you can see, this machine is not going to do anything until it heats. Now, we heard the pump noise motor before. That sound was actually pretty good and indicated that there's an air pocket in the pump. Okay, so now I'm pumping, and now it started sucking a little bit. I can see the suction happened right here. As soon as that happens, see, there's no water coming out. I get the hose in the tank and make sure that the hose doesn't suck up against the wall. And now we've actually primed the pump, and we want to get a steady stream here. And that's pretty good. So we've actually primed the pump manually. Again, this can happen just from an air pocket, and the air pocket occurs either from when the machine is drained before shipping, after testing from the factory or from us here at First Line, and we have to drain it because in freezing weather the water will freeze inside the pump and damage it, or one of the hoses. Now, if you're not getting any noise from the pump when you're hitting the hot water or coffee switch, then you basically have two wires that became loose on the pump, one or the other, or both, that basically is not allowing the pump to gauge. So you will hear no noise coming from the pump. Or the switch wire came off. So most of the time it's an air pocket that causes this, again, from draining from the factory or the manufacturer, or from here at First Line. In the winter months, we will drain the machines so they don't freeze. As you can see here, this is a heat exchanger. So if you look here, this is the particle filter that one would take off if it had a particle filter. Or if there was a water softener or a filter attachment here, we need to take that off because that can be preventing also the water flow from going through. Last but not least, on a rotary vane pump machine, the pump right here may also freeze or develop an air pocket. So a quick trick is to find the motor, take the body off, and there's usually a bolt or a screw right here, and just turn it a couple ways that way, couple ways that way, and that will get the motor, the rotary vanes moving in here. Now, if it's a direct plumb machine, you should have water supply going through the machine for that. If it is a switchable where it's plumbed in and direct connect, you can use the hand pumps, but in some cases those hand pumps won't work, so you might have to plumb it in because it really depends on how the water is fed. Now, this water is fed from a gravity feed, which goes from the tank platform to the inlet here, so you can't put a pump onto that. So in this case, you would have to end up plumbing it in temporarily to get the water flowing through the machine and through the pump to get it started. So those are the different areas to check when you don't have any water going through the pump and through the machine. Number one is to try to manually prime it to remove the air pocket and get that out. Next stage would be to check the wiring on the inside with our assistance if you purchase from us. And again, rotary vane, you would just turn that bolt screw there clockwise and counterclockwise, approximately 2 turns each. We hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you and have a great day.